was at the last Gold Coast meeting, board meeting tonight, so I don't know if she'll make it. And I think Joe went to the school for holiday party, so. Okay, 6 o'clock, I call the working meeting to order. Number 1, concerns about road safety from Facebook. You wanna give us an update, Tina?
Yeah, where's the list? I'm just wondering how many.
You
Oh,
want-
here it is, I got it, okay. Well, we put the stripes down on Singing Wood and Washington, and then on Van Brunt and Shore. We actually did a little bit more on Van Brunt and Shore. We put the triangle because the striper noticed while we were doing it that it was, they kind of just absorbed it and said this will be nice, a good idea. So they kind of had done it by the time I got there, so I think it works. I think it looks good. Haven't gotten any feedback besides that. Facebook, thank you. That's it. We're waiting. Scott Dalton is going to monitor in front of his house. There's no one really to monitor in front of Singing Wood in Washington to see what's going on there. But I guess Facebook will let us know.
I mean, I think it works. I think it's harder to ignore it when it's sitting on the road. I wish it was. I'm worried about how long it's going to last.
Me too, I was thinking the same thing because it wasn't very bright today.
Because it's.
It's not.
I don't know what they used.
You know
but
what?
then you go onto like a newly done like 25A, and it's like that.
But it's also reflective.
Strip. Right,
I think it's like a different material. And I mean, we might have picked the wrong time of year.
Yeah.
Because we did it when it's cold and it doesn't dry as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what it looks like in a couple of weeks and then call her back.
And then if maybe there's like an upgrade in the because.
The
I mean, they just
reflective
like use
thing.
paint. I wonder if like the stuff on the hallway it has like a layer. It's like almost like a fabric that they
It looks
lay.
like that was Home Depot paint.
You know, so I would just love to see.
But
We'll
you
see
know
how it
what?
wears out. But I think it's going to make a difference. And I think the thing at Van Brunt is excellent. I drove to check it out.
Yeah.
I didn't know how you did the. Is that our road? That the other striping that's on the yellow arrows? I mean, that's probably not our road there.
No, where Shore Road is, no.
Where Shore Road and Van Brunt meet, there's a bunch of yellow
But
triangles.
there was no point in having any of the other, I mean, what he said, he did it before I even got
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
She called me.
I just hope we don't get in trouble from Brookhaven.
She called
for
me
painting their
and
road.
said
That's all.
they
They won't
They won't even
that-
notice.
No.
Oh, well, I called Brookhaven to tell them we were doing it.
And I told them about the last meeting too that we had with the villages, and they were like, if you wanna paint our streets, go ahead.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
trying to find out if they had a stop sign, they never even answered. I mean,
Yeah.
so if they were really concerned, they would have
They could
responded.
care less, yeah.
But
Good.
they called me and said, he's down there, he's got some questions.
No, I love it.
By the
Looks
time
great.
I got down there,
Down
they
there's
were
great.
already
I
almost
think that
done.
extra triangle there is awesome to make that entry into Poquott and to have the turn. I think that's perfect.
When did you see it?
Right after I heard it was done, I drove down and checked it out.
Okay, so maybe tomorrow I'll go back there, see if it's fading.
The yellow is probably better because no one's going to drive over it, or they'll drive over it less. It's the white lines in the stop that I just wish was
Right.
brighter and
So do
bigger.
I.
You know,
I would.
it looks thinner.
My thinking is that this was supposed to be like a trial.
Yeah.
Let's just see
Yeah.
what happens. So
And it was cheap,
It may
right?
turn out that if
It
it
wasn't that
fades,
expensive.
and we say, because one thing that I noticed going up to Washington all the time is that it seemed that the stop is smaller letters than I would
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah.
I think they didn't wanna make it too
Yeah,
commercial.
and it might be fine. It may be working and whatever, but at least we'll have a
We'll
trial
know.
and we'll know.
I think it's going to make a difference for sure.
So
I
if we
hope
have
it
to
does.
do it.
Well, we're gonna also
I
do
think
the
it's hard
stop
to
signs,
ignore.
we're gonna do the stop signs facing, we're gonna do that too, right? Add other stop signs facing, so there's gonna be, you're driving here, but there's gonna be a stop here and a stop on the other side.
Yeah, I saw that
You're gonna
down
get
at
the reverse.
where White Pine and Van Brunt meet. There's two there now. They're just off centered from each other. Like one's here and
Did
one's
they
there.
do that already?
One of them's done. Yeah, one of them when you're coming northbound. I guess it's north. I don't even know what it'd be northeast.
Facing the same direction.
When you're going up Van Brunt towards White Pine, there are two stop signs there now.
There always was.
Yeah.
There always two there.
Always, yeah.
Oh, there always one.
Facing the same direction,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Yeah.
one's facing the guy coming south,
No,
the
no,
other
there's-
facing the guy going north.
They're both facing the same way.
Oh, okay.
They're both facing the same way.
But David did that.
And one's on a speed limit sign. There's a speed limit sign that has 35 facing.
No, there's two there.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
there's
One on
two.
each side of the road.
Facing the
if
same
you're
direction?
heading, like north up Van Brunt.
Yeah. Yeah, there's two.
Does it always?
They're just not lined up.
I guess I
Yeah,
drive
they're
past
just
it so
off
much
each
I
other.
didn't even notice.
I never noticed it either.
But I think that's good too.
Yeah, we're gonna do that
To do
too.
more of those would be great.
Yeah, and then, there was the video of the cars
Yeah.
speeding along.
Yeah,
That was
people are
pretty,
idiots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the issue is it's our residents who are doing it.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no one cutting through Poquott to get to, no one goes down shore through Poquott and goes out on Washington. It's our own residents that are doing most of the speeding, so, anyway, that's where we're at.
Stand on my corner, you'll see it.
All right, so I'll put this for next month too, so we can see what.
Like if we could
We'll
budget
see.
even more in the future, like, almost like on a rotating scale to continue to line the stop signs, not necessarily the double yellow, but the stop sign lines.
The
Because I think
thing,
that's a big,
I
that makes a
think,
big
I think so
difference.
too. I think that it next pass though, we'll see how it goes now, because they're gonna get salt and dirt, and I think once we get to
Maybe
the
we
spring,
think
we're
about
gonna see.
upgrading it.
Maybe we should, I'm gonna ask her what the whole reflective, what you see.
Yeah,
'Cause
layers.
It does, it looks like it's taped down. It's beyond paint when they do that.
Yeah,
It looks
yeah,
thick.
that's like a big thing.
So-
Unfortunately, we won't have to worry about plowing over it, so.
Well, right now.
That's a reflective tape that basically is a plastic,
Don't think like
Yeah, there's-
adhesive that to the
it's got
street?
adhesive on the
Yeah.
back of it, and they basically use a blowtorch
They
on
heat
the
it,
top to
yeah.
heat it up.
Yeah,
So
it's not even paint, they just cut it out and they like.
So
roll
that's
the
really,
glue over
that,
it.
but
We
that's
could have
definitely.
David out there with the roll.
But that's definitely
We've had that done before.
a summer
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
because it's gotta be
I
hot.
think it's a good test run.
Yeah,
Test run.
okay, all right.
Success.
Yes. Okay, next thing, update on the gas service, so now everyone is aware that they approved for a gas service down here. I spoke to National Grid, they have 2,000 customers that have to get hooked up first, that already had access to gas and just needed hookup, like the actual gas. But they're gonna meet with me in January, and we're gonna start moving forward, so that's a good sign. So I'll send out one more, once I meet with them, because we had 2 more people sign up since we sent out the notice, and I'll send it out again if anyone else wants to jump on board that didn't already. We did have quite a few residents from the other block saying, well, we want gas service too, but we're not, that would be, I think we looked into it, it was so much money, so that'll be the second phase if we, once we get this done. But it's gonna be like a year, at least, maybe longer.
Until they can actually do it.
Mhm.
But that's, that's a good thing to put out too, though, because people who convert their burners who are gonna be there, to let them know if.
They might wanna
you
do
get-
propane and
Well,
stuff.
and to get propane in an interim, if they're gonna wanna do the gas and they know it's coming and they have a real concrete definite thing. I mean, we've had propane on our property forever, so, people might do that, just might make sense. You can take the tanks away when you've got it on the street.
Newsletter, did you have a chance to start
Yeah.
that? Okay. Now that's what's it gonna look like.
This is what it's gonna look like.
I like that.
With no content, and what I did was I kind of dummied in, I circulated the one and everybody kind of chimed in what they thought might be good content. So I threw in what I thought would work for everybody to give me feedback, and then, I'll write what I feel like I can write, and if anybody wants to write, Chris will write some too.
Absolutely.
And then, if any other board members wanna write some stuff, I think the driveway thing, maybe you should write. But I just penciled in proposed content. Chris, on the back though, you had said on the back there, it says resident resources, cause you said you wanted to have a constant. So is that what you're thinking of, like recycling?
Yeah, well, I like that the recycling calendar's there, and,
Do we put a list of, we have that list on the website for in emergency situations, here's who you contact, normally call the village, but if in case of a XYZ, here's the people who you contact. Did we put that on there for the first go
Well, we should
around?
list like police department, fire department, stuff, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, all that, but some of that's down there,
Oh,
some of that, is that down there?
yeah, I think what I want, I appreciate the Facebook page, but I don't think that should be our number one
Not
vehicle
Facebook,
for
the
community.
village website too, but that,
Right.
okay.
It'd be awesome if like, like we talked about, in emergencies, you know, or, you know, if something's happening off business hours, to have what the contact is. I mean, I think, is the first contact gonna be when a tree goes down code? Is that like, when clerks aren't here, the tree goes down and you guys are on, is code the first call we would want the residents to make?
We would assume so, if we're, you know,
And then code would contact whoever is in charge of tree removal for us,
Jeff.
right? I mean, wouldn't that, right, Jeff? I mean, that would be the pathway there, right?
That's not how we have the pathway kind of established on the website, though. On the website, we're
That's what's-
giving people direct links.
Right, I don't know, I feel like, well, I mean, I guess we could debate
No,
what
I
it is.
think, I think,
A direct route would be, for almost anything that's happening, if code's in,
you're right.
code would be our route, and then they would know who to call. I think putting it in every village and saying, who do I call, that makes it more confusing for each thing. If code was the response to, you know, a deer just got killed on in my driveway by a passing car or something like that. I mean, is that like, as long as code's in office, I feel like that would be the,
But they're not, they're not always in office, so.
but we know their hours, right?
So in the
It's not-
off
Not
hours,
written in
Right.
stone, the hours, right? You
Mhm.
kind of move that around.
Well, they mostly try to cover when Village Hall's closed. And
So the only time we're really looking for is those really off hours.
but for.
And then I guess, you know, I don't know how we word that, but I would love like a streamlined,
I agree with
Single
you, that it
pathway.
goes one way, but.
or even if there's a dummy phone number that at all other hours you call this number. I mean, businesses do this, the number gets called and then it gets fed out to
one person.
whoever.
We used to have, remember, we were gonna have the standby people for the storms and stuff?
Yeah. If there's a tree down, I don't have a problem with somebody calling me up and telling me there's a tree down. I mean, I then call up John Rosner, but, you know, if it's in the middle of the night, he's not coming out either.
Right.
And the code, if they're on, they can put cones around, which is at least,
Super important.
you know, it's important in and of itself, but it's a mixed blessing when you have people expecting that in the middle of the night, it's gonna have this emergency response team doing all these things.
No, it's just a place, a repository for them to call. Just so they say, I called, you know, informed that number, or left a message, or whatever it was, and then that could be directed out.
Well, then, I mean, they can always get through to the code number, and that you leave messages, that messages.
Is that working?
if they do that in the middle of the night, no one here will know about it until 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Because
Even though
the
you-
office doesn't check your
Right.
phone.
So, I mean, whatever you're doing has to be, I think, consistent across
Right.
platforms, right? So if on the website we have, I mean, there's certain things that aren't emergency, that's in 25A roads, contact me, like we have certain categories that are just ongoing projects, who to contact, that's fine. I don't
Do you
think
wanna
that-
just keep, you don't wanna put that here, the same kind of info then?
I would, but I think we're trying to decide, do we
Yeah.
funnel it through code, or do we?
I guess it depends on what it is, it's hard to decide.
When I was doing the snow, and they would, some of the residents on the other, would just, I wasn't on that side, and they would just call me and say, we need more sand, or just call Poquott and say, we need
Right.
more sand, they come out and do it.
So should we just have an emergency, the code / one of us, and then one of us routes it to whoever is in the, I mean, I don't.
I mean, I'm thinking all the time I was doing the snow, I had like 3 people call me, it wasn't like Jeff said, it wasn't.
I guess, yeah, I guess I'm
crazy,
trying
you
to
know.
think.
On the website, it's by email, so it's
Right.
assuming, you know, that's not, you're not gonna get a quick response either. It's
Mhm.
something to really think about, because, I mean, if we're gonna make it accessible, it should be accessible, it should be consistent. You know what, why don't I look and see how other villages are, I'll get back on the phone. Why don't I look and see what other village websites are doing with that, and if it's just.
You gotta pick the smaller ones, like
The
Belterra,
smaller ones, right,
Oakfield.
yeah, I'll call Belterra.
Yeah.
People are getting used to me calling them and annoying.
Well, they don't have like their own,
Right, but
Public
maybe, I mean,
Works
do
and
they
stuff,
just,
that's good.
I believe Belterra is 24/7.
their code? So then that's different too.
Oakfield's not that.
Sure.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah, those are good ones.
All right, I'll see what they're doing, and then we'll talk about it. I might just circulate that via email so that we can get moving on the content. And if everybody can just look at the placeholders I've thrown in, and let me know via email if we're all on board with it. Or if we wanna change some things up. It's everybody who had made suggestions, I took their suggestions and I kinda
I think it's
spread
cool.
them out. So if that's good, then, you know, just let me know this week and I'll start writing and start populating
So,
stuff.
is this gonna be pretty much the format, so certain articles are gonna be taking up more space and some are gonna be less?
Yeah, and I don't know,
So-
I haven't really balanced out how that's
Well,
gonna work.
Well, that was gonna actually be my question, is that if I'm gonna write an article on something, would I know that it has to be, 250 words or 500 words or something like that to fill up the space, or not go beyond or something? Because then you're gonna have some formatting issues.
So, good point, I think,
That's why we have the editor. So, I mean, like, you'll send it in and then you drag it and drop it in
No,
here
but,
and
I mean,
edit
to
through it.
his point, if I really have only allotted 500 words and he writes 2,000, it's a waste of his time. So I guess let's get an okay on this, and I'll do a word count approximate, and you come in within a couple of hundred of that, and then we'll edit it from there. I think that's reasonable, right? So if we're good with the content,
I think it looks great.
you know, we can always add pictures, take pictures away. People like pictures, so I don't wanna make it all just text, but,
No, I agree.
you
I
know,
know, I think the layout's excellent. I would hate it to be more busy.
Right.
And more wordy than it is. It should be
Right.
like a quick, easy,
yeah, 10-minute read, and
rip
then,
it
you
and,
know.
and feel good about it and
Yeah, they
put
used
those
to-
phone numbers on your fridge,
Do you
just like
remember
that.
the old one?
No, I never
Okay.
saw the old
So
one.
they used to have like the birthdays and stuff like that in there too, which, we could have a section that just says if you wanna get it in for the next one, send it in,
People's birthdays, happy
Yeah,
birthday
it was like, it was
to-
big, like big birthdays, like 80, 90, like,
Oh, okay, milestone birthdays.
yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Someone got married, had a baby, something like that, but they were just
Milestone
trying to.
Village
birthdays,
milestone.
events.
Yeah.
I
Hold the
think,
offense, I think that was the name.
Yeah, it was something like, that. They had a recipe in
Old and
there or
wet.
something
I'd
like
love,
that.
do we have a copy of the old one, Joe?
Yeah.
All right.
It's at his house.
Can
They'll
I
have to
get it?
print one off the big wheel.
Yeah, but I think, I'd like to see it, because if there's certain names that they used, it would be good to use them again, whatever it is, that'd be fun.
Okay.
I have a file on that, it's in my office.
Okay,
I
I'll
like
have to
it.
stop by.
I think it looks great.
Cool.
Okay, so I saw your email about, so anything else on the newsletter? No. Okay. 25A, the flooding, I saw that you set up a meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a meeting with the Department of Transportation, scheduled for the beginning of January. I emailed, a couple, there wasn't a lot of residents that jumped on board, but the ones that did, I emailed them to let them know where I was before I got the meeting, and I have to send the Department of Transportation an agenda of what I wanna discuss.
Is the meeting gonna be here?
No, it's gonna be in Hopog.
Okay. And you and I are both going to that?
Yeah,
When is the meeting?
January.
Pardon?
I don't have the date,
I have it in my phone,
I'd
I'll
like,
check for
yeah,
you.
if you want me to go, I'd like to go.
Okay, it's, I think it's, like during the day, like 11 in the
Yeah,
morning or
okay, I
something.
mean, it's right by my office. no problem.
okay, so, we have to, I wanna go back and look at, and I wanna talk to Rich too, because I wanna see, I have all the residents' input, I wanna go take actual, I got so many pictures, I wanna go back and take other pictures current. But the two areas that I wanna really talk about is the pond, that they didn't do anything at all,
Mhm.
and that they're not responding, but the fact that they tested the water and that they admitted that this goes back to 2014, they didn't say specifically when they tested the water in that letter, did they?
I don't remember.
I don't think
It's in Village Hall, the letter.
I have it too, but I
Okay.
didn't see that they said, so like, specific information, but I think that just the fact that if the water is good, that doesn't mean that the pond is, that doesn't necessarily mean the pond's great. And the aesthetics, you know what happened? And I told them when I spoke to them, you said you were gonna do something for the aesthetics of it, and that really wasn't satisfying anybody, but then you didn't even do that, so now the residents are less satisfied than they would have been with the Band-Aid. Now it's like, let's actually do something. Plus, I talked to them because poor Jeff is, Port Jeff, there was that newspaper article that I had last time, I think, and Port Jeff is trying to get them to fix the roads going down, and the sidewalk. And if they're gonna fix the road that way because of the runoff, then they should go the other way for us too. So I wanna do the sidewalks and the pond, but I don't know if there's specific things that this agenda, I mean, that's what I wanna talk about, fixing them.
Should we be inviting someone from Port Jeff?
I don't know, I mean,
Or they're just on their own for the sidewalks and we'll just be discussing it that day?
we could, I mean, I have a contact point and she's been nice in talking to me and responsive.
Is it
so-
Margaret or no?
No, it's Meg Daniels. So we could see if she wants, but I don't know if they're,
Or
maybe.
we just go the first time and see what happens and then go from
I
there?
mean, there's a whole newspaper article that they were supposed to be doing it, so we can just kind of jump on that bandwagon and then see what happens, maybe get them involved. I said I was doing it because Port Jeff was doing it, but I don't know.
So speaking of newspaper articles, maybe you can write that up or contact, what's the reporter at the Times Picayune?
Rita?
Rita, you can, well, if you have this meeting, to kind of, show that this has been going on, and that might generate additional interest in the community at large, who have no idea that any of this stuff is going on. It's our little,
Is that a good idea?
It's a pretty good idea. Yeah, okay, cool. Depending on, well, I guess it also depends on what they say. You guys are crazy.
drop that.
No, I can't, because I don't think,
You know how many highways we have to take?
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
yeah, but that pond is so noticeable to everyone who drives by. I mean,
Yeah,
my
that-
mother always comments that she lives in Port Jeff and she comes up and she sees it and she's like, what is the deal with that pond?
It's
Especially
just-
right now, it's like so.
It only made it worse when they took out all the trees and stuff.
I know, it's so glaring. So I'm gonna take some more
Sounds like
pictures.
it.
I'm gonna come up with an agenda, circulate it, and then see. Now, the thing is, do I bring it back to the residents to tell them clearly, what do you want me to say? I mean, they all kind of gave me bits and pieces, but do I make them delineate it or
No,
no?
I think we go and then we can send them an update.
Okay.
After that.
All right.
Anything else on that?
Nope.
So the next thing, number 5, is the lights on the trail. You said they're ordered or they're here?
You're here?
Okay, you want David to put them in this weekend?
Yeah.
One at the top, one at the bottom?
A little bit further down and a little bit further up. I think like
Maybe like,
a quarter of the way down and a quarter of the way, so that the middle of the trail, I think it's the middle part that's really dark, yes? Or no?
On the steps we're talking
Yeah.
about?
The top isn't that dark, up here.
Yeah, I mean, it just downward swells down like that, that middle section gets dark, and then as you get towards the road, I mean, I would just put it, I'd really just put it like, well, how many, like 4 spots
got
on?
2.
Mhm.
Oh, you got 2.
Is it, does this
we
have
were
a
gonna just try that out and
solar?
see if the lights
Yeah.
up. Okay, so
And
we'll
then is the
we'll put
light
them in the middle,
separately aimed,
like,
or
you
is
know,
the
No, it's not
spaced
solar,
out.
it's battery operated.
Not at the bottom.
Right, and then see if it works, and if it works, then we can go from there. Okay.
So let-
Are they motion sensor?
they're motion sensor,
Okay.
battery operated, so here's the stairs. Where do we wanna put them?
Yeah,
We're gonna put them in the middle.
just like that.
Okay.
Where are they, Joe? In your office? Okay. So let's leave them for him.
Here's the blueprint.
I wonder.
You can give me the blueprint,
I'm curious
that's
to see
how I
how
want to
bright-
communicate to
Do
them.
like a scale.
What, do we know how bright they are? Doesn't say like lumen
I
or
haven't
something?
tested them,
Be curious to
they're still in
see.
the boxes.
That'll be the
Might
big
be
thing.
on
We'll
the-
see how long it lasts.
It
until
might
it
be
walks
on the
by,
flip,
'cause
it might be on the flip side of the blueprint.
if you're Kyle's
The
house and
lumens.
and that thing's going on and off every time an animal goes by, that's gonna be annoying.
I don't think it's gonna do that, you think, or maybe?
No.
No, light sensors will. But we'll see. We'll see. It's worth a try. It's nice to have that lit.
I think they're gonna disappear.
Well, come on, have faith in your fellow man.
Yeah.
All right, snow removal for 2020. So we put out for a bid, this is the second month in a row, and we're not getting any response. Quick way, the insurance is too expensive.
So they're not doing it anymore?
They're not doing snow removal. I mean, they did it this storm because they were still under last year's contract. I talked to him about another insurance carrier, it was even too expensive for that. So, we contacted Quickway, 4D. They said, yeah, they're interested, nobody got back to us, so, you had a person, right?
Advanced
But,
Pavement Solutions, the same ones that do the striping, are interested.
but they came in basically the same price as Quickway last year, but the problem is, they're not prevailing wage.
Was it included in our carding bid?
No, it
Or we
was,
did it separately?
uh-huh,
Okay.
we've always done it separately, and this year we're actually thinking of doing it for a few years, cause
Yeah.
it's every year,
Right.
but we didn't even get that chance.
What was the reason why they're not, you said something about the wage?
They wanna do it.
They wanna
They're
do
not
it,
What's the
prevailing.
wage?
What's the prevailing wage, do you know, for snow removal?
It's pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
You know, honestly, they would still be making money, because snow removal charge is fairly high. I think it's whatever, I mean, just to throw a number out, I think it's $150 an hour, something like.
Well, they came in
For a truck.
cheaper than that, right?
How much is it
No.
now for a truck?
They're close though. Six-wheeler truck with sander and plow, $155 an hour.
Okay.
I mean, they're
And so it's
close.
the two people, one or two people in the truck, right? So they're probably, I'm sure they're $30 or $40 an hour. So
So are we considering them even though they're not prevailing wage? What is
we
that?
Well, they're
can't
saying-
run prevailing wage,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
So I have to say to them, you need to do prevailing wage, knock it down $5? Is that? I
No,
mean,
they just have to tell us they're gonna pay prevailing wage. It doesn't matter what they charge us, but they have to be prevailing wage.
How do they certify that?
They give us an affidavit, every time we owe them money, and we're gonna, before they get the check, they have to give us an affidavit that they're paying.
And then we give that to the wedding company at the end of the year.
Yeah, we'll get ordered for that.
Does Brookhaven outsource this kind of, I mean, do they have,
We call Brookhaven, they can't fit us in.
they can't, you can't,
Brookhaven stated they do not have the resources to add us to their
to their
snow
schedule.
plowing
Right.
schedules.
All right.
They took on the village of South Shoreham as a contractor, as a contractee. They now have the village of Shoreham to take care
Oh,
of,
so
so
they're-
we're out of the picture. They don't want us.
And 4D hasn't gotten back to us.
So now, what happens if there's a blizzard? Do we get to have a prevailing wage addendum, temporary emergency non-prevailing wage to get the village plowed? Does that exist in legal terms? I'm sure it doesn't, but.
You know, you're really supposed to pay, you know, even if it's emergency, you're really supposed to pay prevailing wage.
So we're good until the 31st, but it's after the 31st.
Of December.
But this is our last meeting before the 31st. right?
Yeah,
So-
that's not really, so.
Why
No,
can't we
they
reach out
respond.
to 4D and explain all this? They just didn't get back to us, they didn't say no.
Right, they said they wanna do it, they just didn't get back to us.
So.
And I know they are gonna pay prevailing wage,
Yeah,
so.
maybe, well, it
We
just
can-
sounds like this is something that could be worked out, if we.
Well, I'm just saying, we only have a few more weeks, we have to work it out in the next few weeks.
Right, but we already know that they said that they're interested, and but they haven't followed through, so maybe we can kind of seek them out and let them
We
know
don't
how
have-
this could be negotiated. I mean, it seems doable.
I wouldn't worry about bidding it out at this point. I would just get, if they're willing to do it, just sign a contract with them for a year, at least. I would do it a year.
Uh-huh.
Just,
Just in case.
yeah, unless, then we could bid it out for more.
I mean, Quickway can do prevailing wage, but they're not gonna have the insurance. So now we have one company that doesn't have the insurance, one company who has the
Yeah,
insurance,
they have to
like,
have insurance.
yeah, oh, no, I agree, they have to have the insurance, especially.
So if anything ever happened, we could get sued with them. So yeah, so that's what I would do is contact 4D and just try to, if you need, just let me know and I'll do a contract for them. Have them do a written proposal and email it to me, and then I'll do a contract.
Okay, and you wanna contact them too and see, cause if they're willing to pay prevailing wage,
I mean, she made it kind of clear.
that they weren't going to.
The email kind of said, by the way, it's not prevailing wage. I could call her back and just chat with her, I guess. I can try.
Joe, have you guys reached out to 4D? Have they?
4D we didn't touch. No,
Oh.
we talked to the town, we talked to Quickway.
Cindy talked to Courtney.
Listen, you did.
Yeah. She, Joe was off that day,
Right.
it was last week, and
Okay.
they said, yeah, we'd like to do it, but they just haven't got anything over to us, so. Yeah. So I just say we let them try, we have a few more weeks, but next week they can
Let's
swap.
move it, yeah, let's move it.
Oh, we'll just have to,
Let's see if they can do
Let's
it.
move it. What is a blizzard?
well, this with the snow, I called Cindy and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, the road's okay? She's like, well, quickly came through. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, how did they come through? 'Cause I didn't, you called them?
No,
I didn't call them.
because they're still on the contract.
So they just come on their own?
No, she called them.
Oh, Cindy did?
Cindy
Oh,
called them,
okay.
yeah. Because I had these people as a backup. I had advanced pavement. When I saw the forecast, I said, just, will you come if there's like an emergency and just do it? And she said, obviously to get paid, but I didn't know any of this prevailing wage stuff at the time. So Cindy called with her.
Oh, I thought, she said the quick way came through, but I just thought you had contacted them,
Yeah,
so.
no.
That's fine, yeah. Okay, Law 105, Jeff, you're up.
All right, well, I didn't mean this to be something that would really say, okay, this is a nice draft, because it was more of an outlet for discussion. Last meeting, we were gonna actually talk about some of the possible recommendations, and then I would put it into format. So the thing that I sent out to everybody is kind of formatted to 185 parks. So under 185.3.
And 105, isn't it 105 parks?
Oh,
105 is parks.
105 parks. 105.3 is the section
Okay.
where it says parking and use of village parks. So it has A, B, C, D, and so I added, it would add E, use of the village dock. So that would be an addendum to this, you know, we're not rewriting the whole thing of parks. So, Tina made some good additions, although, one thing that you said, when you inserted pier, dock, or boat ramp.
because I think the structures are, the pier is one thing, the dock is actually, am I right? That the dock
Well,
is
you're talking
actually,
about a floating dock,
the
but the whole
floating
structure
docks.
is a is a
the whole
dock.
thing is called a dock?
Well, the thing that concerns me, I don't want to get to split hairs here, but in 183, in the definitions, dock and pier, one says see the other. They're
Okay,
used
so then
synonymously.
just scratch that, I
So
didn't realize
Yeah,
that, so
I
then
mean-
just go with dock. I
Yeah.
thought that it was two separate structures, the floating part and the pier, because a lot of times they are separated, but it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
however you categorize it.
Okay, so, anyway, so I don't know if anybody has any comments on any things that
Yeah.
I put down. Provides convenient access and so on and so on. We have the thing about not mooring overnight. I added the thing about courtesy for people to not just hang out there, because other people might want to get to the dock. No loud music or noise. I took most of these off of our sign. But I'm not sure that we want it in our, in this document.
Well, that
So that's
sign
what
was just, we just put that together for the season.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So I put, since it's already on the sign, I figured, well, let me put it here on the table, but this is something that we would just kind of decide yea or nay as far as all these different lines, because